Okay, so please find a nice space there somewhere where you can sit down. There's always lots of space in the front. I don't know why, if I was Taylor Swift, and I can't be Taylor Swift, people would be right at the front. But anyway, I don't know why. I do actually shower and brush my teeth, but anyway, there's lots of space in the front for those who want. And also, for this talk this evening, that sometimes that from the meditation, that's where you can actually see things which other people can't see. A lot of times I've been talking about how the meditation helps, with one's physical health. But it's not just the physical health, it's just the things which happen to you in life. How many people in life that things go the way you expect them to go? I was going to say they should go. If everything went the way it should go, and you had a nice, easy life, with plenty of money, and a nice family, and nice kids, who never disturb you when you're meditating, that would be really weird. The real life, that's where we get to understand and make peace with our life. And this is one of the reasons why that all these theories of Buddhism, you can actually apply them to real life, and they often surprise me to the extent that you're in awe of some of these wisdom teachings which really, really work. From people recovering from things like cancers when they shouldn't be able to recover, that people who fail exams and they take them again and they just pass easily. And why do actually sometimes people even call it failure? Sometimes that's one of the things I noticed in my life, even when I was just becoming a Buddhist. I noticed just what people feel is important in life. And for me, I was told, be a smart kid. If you pass your exams, then you'll be successful in life. Is that true? Be honest. I followed that advice and I was successful in my exams. What's the old story? I loved playing soccer as a kid. And my family and my teacher said, stop playing so much soccer. There's no future in that. But instead, if you stay at home, study harder, and you pass your exams, then you'll be happy in life. All you kids here, if that's what your parents tell you, don't believe it. And that's what you've got to tell your kids. But the main thing is that they have happiness and good health. But anyway, I followed that. I never realized, in the 60s, that if you carried on playing soccer, you can make a really good career and have so much money as a professional soccer player, you could retire so much earlier. I often complain, can I retire now? Can I? Mrs. President? No. Why is that? Because I've got no money. Got no bank account, no personal credit card, no superannuation, no pension. Who's the poorest person, the poorest three people in this hall? Not me. What is the definition of poor? What's the definition of rich? My definition of rich is somebody who wants for nothing. That's me. I want for nothing. How many of you sometimes come up and say, what do you want? It's your birthday, or it's Chinese New Year, What should I put in the Ang Pao? That's the traditional gifts. Nothing. If I know that you're putting nothing in the Ang Pao, these little red packets, then I will accept it. If I know there's some money in it, I can't. So if you want to give me a gift and there's money in it, I can't accept it. If you put some nothing in there, then I can. And I get a nice packet I can use for something or other. That's one of the reasons, as a monk, as a Buddhist, you see things in a totally different way. So anyway, I didn't need any money, and anyway, I did my exams instead of chasing balls. I was actually quite good at soccer when I was young. I had potential which was unfulfilled. But I know if I'd have become a Buddhist and then started playing soccer, I could imagine what the results were. That's why I can't play sports as a Buddhist monk, because I would always lose on purpose. You know, I remember Ajahn Chah, I'll go back to that in a moment, Ajahn Chah being asked by one of his disciples, he was drafted into the Thai army. He said, what should I do? He said, you've been drafted in the Thai army, just go, become a soldier. And he was a layperson, not a monk yet. But, you know, I have to train very hard and very well, especially when you go on the shooting range to shoot rifles. Make sure you've got a good aim and always hit the target. But I may kill somebody. No, exactly. If you're a good shot, you can always aim over the head of the enemy, so you can never hit them. If you're a bad shot, you don't know where that bullet's going to go. Shoot to miss. And that would be exactly what I would have done if I'd have joined a soccer team, or a football team, or a cricket team. You know, I'm always, proud of the Sri Lankan cricket teams. They always lose these days. They're really good Buddhists. If they kept winning, I would be disgusted with them. But that's one of the reasons why. What's the most important thing in life? It wasn't actually winning a game, it was just having fun and being kind and having a good sort of kindness towards one another. And that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I never carried on playing soccer. I passed my exams, and then the next thing which happened, in UK, A-levels. And in A-levels, by this time my father had passed away, but still my mother, uncles, grandparents, everybody, they were telling me, I wasn't chasing football anymore, I was chasing pretty girls, having girlfriends. I was a young man, so I'm glad that, I could do things like that, because then you get an understanding of, what motivates you, what you find important in life, and gives a much better understanding of what relationships are. So anyway, instead of chasing girls going to parties and stuff, my parents and friends told me, don't go chasing girls, stay at home, do your homework, pass your exams, and when you pass your A-levels, then afterwards you can go chase girls. You know what happened? I passed my A-levels, did really well at a very young age. Finished those when I was only 16. You know what they said then? Said I wanted to go, I started, getting suspicious. All the things which people told you to do, all the things which people said, make it a priority. Before I would accept that, I would check it out. And I knew so many other people who had actually got good degrees. As soon as you pass a degree at a university, what happens to you next? Can you relax and be happy? No way. Then you've got to do a master's, and then a PhD, and then extracurricular activity. Then you've got to go and get a job. When you're going to get a job, they always pay you little first of all, not enough to actually to pay the bills or get a house or something. Then after a while, that you realize you have to work even harder. But so many people always think that once they get enough money, once they get a nice job in an office somewhere, that then they'll be happy. I was just talking to someone. They keep on asking me, they're trying to get a job in an office. Once you get a job in an office, will you be happy? It makes life a little bit happier. But then you've got to go and get a place to live, you've got to go and get a car or some sort of transport. And then you've got to save some money in case things go wrong in the future, and things will always go wrong anyway. And then you find your partner in life. Does that make you happy when you find your partner in life? How many people want to get married? Did that solve all your problems? You know, sometimes people, they want to find a partner in life, they come to me for some chanting. It's about time I was honest. When I chant for you, it's not so you can find a nice partner in life. I chant so you can be happy. That's why you don't find a partner. So anyway, people go on like that all the time, the whole life. They always come up to the monks, have a problem, and they want me to solve it, or the other monks to solve it. And sometimes, it's much nicer to make your goal a bit more deep and powerful, something which can be achieved, like contentment, peace. Someone asked me, again recently, when I was in Thailand, what was one of the happiest moments? And I'm not talking about the happiness of like inner peace, just what I saw out there in the world. I remember just walking through the villages, going on the way to some ceremony, and just looking how people lived. I remember just going through the village of Bungwai, that's where Wat Banana Chart was located, and you saw every evening a whole family was sitting out in the open because they didn't have any aircon, and the light which they were using, there was no electricity. They had a little bowl with some oil in it, and they floated a wick in the oil. And they used an old toothpaste tube. Cut the bottom of the tube off, and the little place where the tube is squirted out, that was the thing which held the wick. Just a bit of rag, that's all. And they lit that, and that served two purposes. It gave a little bit of light, but the smoke also kept the mosquitoes away. It was a very, very good invention. And you saw the whole family sitting around in a semicircle around that light. And they would tell old stories. Some of those stories were stupid stories. Some of them they'd heard many times before. But the point was they told those stories together. And they were all listening to them. They were having a wonderful evening. Just like that story that sometimes people say I tell silly jokes. This is a very deep joke. For those of you who know philosophy. This was the horse which walked into the bar. And the barman said, "Do you want a drink?" And the horse said, "I think not." And then vanished, disappeared into thin air. The horse was a philosophy student. He studied Descartes. And as Descartes, he used to say, "I think, therefore I am." So the horse worked out logically, if he doesn't think, or he thinks I'm not, or I don't think, then he has to disappear. I think, therefore I am. I don't think, therefore I'm not. So the horse vanished. To understand that joke more easily, I should have explained about the philosophy first. But that would have been putting Descartes before the horse. You can't say that's a silly joke. That was deep, philosophical. Anyway, and that came from, I have to acknowledge, yeah, you got it at last. Some of you are like that. It just takes a few minutes before it just works through the system and is fully understood. That came from one of the disciples over in Singapore. Very nice. So anyway, that all of the stuff which, we love to actually to challenge things. What's really important in life? If I could give you a gift, what would it be? You know that wonderful story? Some people laugh at this, but it is just a very deep teaching. And that's one of the reasons why when I first heard it, wow, this explains something which people find very hard to understand. The meaning of Nibbana. Enlightenment. What is that? Many people come on these retreats and they want to experience enlightenment. But what is it? Sometimes when I was young I thought, this Buddhism, especially meditation retreats, it's like buying a ticket on a bus which you can't get off of once you're on, not knowing where it's going to go. Do you really want to experience Nibbana? Has it been explained to you what it is? And this is the best explanation, and that's the old explanation of the 5 kids playing the wishing game. I hope you remember that one. You're going to hear it again anyway, even if you have heard it again. And I always say, I give so many talks, I have to repeat myself. I try to change it a little bit every time, but this one you can't change too much. But I can change it a little bit. So, the 5 kids playing the wishing game. And then the kid who gets the best wish wins the wishing game. So the first kid said, if I had a wish, you know how hot it's been last week, the last couple of weeks here. If I had a wish, I would wish for an ice cream. I can understand that. It's weird being a monk, because in the morning, sometimes people put ice cream out. I don't take any. Ice cream is always more attractive to me in the afternoon, when I'm not allowed to eat it. Have you ever noticed that? So anyhow, first kid said, I like an ice cream. It was hot. Second kid said, I can do better than that. I would wish for an ice cream shop. It was my ice cream shop. I don't just get one ice cream. I can get an ice cream any day of the week. As many as I like if I own the shop. And the third kid said, I can do better than that. The third kid said, if I had a wish, because the problem is with if you like ice creams, that your parents won't let you take so many. They say you get fat or it's bad for your health. I don't know why it is that all the nice things in life are bad for my health. Do you understand that? Actually, that was one of the reasons why. When I saw in an advertisement, it wasn't an advertisement, a news article, somebody sent it to me, that the healthiest man, or the oldest man in Australia at the time, when they asked him, I think it was about 112 or something, or 110, this Australian man, over in Sydney, said, you're so old, 110, what's the secret of your long life? How come you've lived so long? You know what he said? Because he eats baked beans every day. And I thought, at last, something which I like to eat is healthy. So, would you like me to live a long life? No? Oh, come on. So sometimes if they say, okay, what else gives you long life? And of course it's obvious to me, because you should all know this, that what's called in Sri Lanka tinkiri, condensed milk, is called long life milk. And if you see in the in the stuff which you get from, oh come on, be scientific. If it comes from the Asian stores, you always have this picture of this old Chinese sage on the front. Have you seen those Chinese tins of condensed milk? It's on there. See it, read it. Okay, I'm not convincing you. No, but the secret of long life is actually happiness and purpose. And if you've got a good purpose in life, and you do it with happiness, and you share the happiness with everybody, of course you'll have a long life. It keeps you going. That's one of the reasons why I see Prem is back from... You've already been to Thailand and back? Not yet? Okay. But anyway, he knows that one of the friends over there, Ajahn Brahm, he once told, he didn't actually tell me, but he passed the message down, please tell Ajahn Brahm, if he wants to live a long life, he should keep teaching overseas. That's what he said. Didn't he? That's why I keep going overseas. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to what's really important in life. So seeing that all the things which people valued in life wasn't actually working, even that one time that I didn't even mention this because somebody asked me from the Vietnamese community, because it's the Chinese New Year, which many of the Vietnamese Buddhist communities celebrate. So last week, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, they came here in the morning, quite a lot of them, to get a blessing, which I happily gave to them, but I just talked to them a bit. And at the same time they were asking, just, Ajahn Brahm, how old am I? When I told them my age, they said, oh, come on, you can't be that old. He said, you've got such a young-looking face. And I mentioned to them that once giving a lecture in Thailand about, it was actually on psychic powers, they asked, how come, you look so young? And I gave them the answer. The reason why I've got a very good complexion is because I've never been married. That's the reason why. Why are you laughing? Because there's a lot of truth in that. But don't you miss having children? No, on a Friday night I come here and see the kids. No. But sometimes I look at each one of you. I must admit, I'm not just making these up. Sometimes I look at you as my family, as my kids. The nuns as my sisters. These as my brothers, no matter what part of the world you come from. And that is my family. It's a beautiful idea, looking at each one of you. Some of you I've known for such a long time. Some of you have come from so many different places in the world. And you're all coming together and you sit here, you laugh at the same stories, you enjoy each other's company, and you feel safe in each other's presence. You're friends, family, much more than friends. It is a sense of my family. And so that's one of the reasons why I can have such a nice complexion. Because after the talk is over, you go home. And I feel free. In my life, instead of getting awards or degrees, sometimes those things don't really feel right. They don't feel, how can you just distinguish one person from another? Okay, they may pass the exams, but does that make them smarter? What really makes people, what I think is really important, what I value just more than degrees and stuff. Actually, I did get an MA, and I've also got an AM. That's an Australian medal, whatever it's called. So that makes me ma'am. So that's my title. Ma'am Brahm. If I get any titles or anything, that's only just to make some silly joke about it somewhere. Because it doesn't really count. What really counts is to see, I'm being honest now, your smiling faces here. Not just a smile because I'm a comedian. But you know, honestly, that when I was in Sri Lanka, there was one gentleman who I met when I was over in Melbourne many years ago, and he was actually a comedian on TV. And he was the one who came up to me. Honest, I'm not joking about this. He came up to me after one of my talks in Melbourne, and he said, "You've got such good material and perfect timing. And because you're wearing a robe and bald head, you're a monk, I think I can get you a job in the Melbourne Comedy Club as a professional stand-up comedian." And he offered me that job. I did think about it, but not long. I prefer my day job as a monk. But nevertheless, I invited him to come here to one of our global conferences. And those of you remember that. I saw his dad over in Melbourne a week or two ago, and he said, I asked him what the fellow was doing. He said he always remembered me, and that he was now working in SBS in some managerial or overseeing role in entertainment. He's done very well in his life. So, but actually, seeing you smile not because of funny stories, because of the meaning of those stories, that to me is more important. And to see just how many people, whether you do chanting for them or just be kind to them, just how much that helps. Okay, it is the time now when I'm getting to the latter period of my life. I don't want to say the end of my life, otherwise you'll all start to get worried and just making pleas to me. But I've lived a long life already, and what really inspires me now is to see the effect of all that hard work which we've done. I first came over here to Perth about 42 years ago. 42 years, I think about that. And there was hardly any Buddhism here. And there was hardly any sort of harmony between the different groups. And it's amazing just what has been affected over all these years. How many people can find some peace and contentment? So going back to that story of, there's 5 kids. It's not just getting the ice cream shop. The third kid said, if I had a wish, I would wish for $5 billion. Would you like $5 billion? Really? I remember seeing some very wealthy people in my life, incredibly wealthy people. One of those wealthy people went to visit him over in Kuala Lumpur. And when I went into his house, first of all he had to go past the guards on his gate, and they had machine guns. And I wondered, I said, are you in a prison? And no, he said, that's to keep the world out, not to keep me in. He paid those guards. And when I went and saw him at a magnificent house, this was quite a few years ago, all the things you could ever want, except for freedom. That's how I saw it. And because he was afraid. When you have lots of money, other people want it. Just like that Buddhist story of the king. Would you rather be a king with all of that power rather than someone who's really wealthy? one of the kings in this Buddhist story, he went, this is in the time of the Buddha, he went with his soldiers to train. And as he was coming back to his palace after doing the training, he saw 2 mango trees. One of those mango trees had so many ripe mangoes on them. The other tree had no mangoes at all. And he thought, what's the point of being a mango tree if you don't have any mangoes? So he almost cursed that mango tree with no mangoes. And the tree with lots of mangoes, he thought that when I've finished, got back to the palace and got changed, I'll come out and enjoy some of these ripe mangoes. And that's what he did. And so he changed and got on his horse and came out to taste some of those ripe mangoes. And only then he saw that his soldiers, who was helping train, they never bothered to get changed. They stripped that mango tree, which had the mangoes, of every fruit which was on there. And as they were stripping every mango, they broke so many branches and stripped off so many leaves. That mango tree, which was once full of succulent mangoes, was actually destroyed. He looked at the mango tree, which had no mangoes, and that still had all its branches and leaves intact. And he thought, I'm going to renounce being a king. If you have power and wealth, there's other people who want it. Isn't it more happy to be someone who has enough to live, but not too much? So other people will never want to break into your house. They never want to steal anything. That's just like monastery. You know, right now where I live, the door of my kuti is open. I never locked it it's actually this morning, when I left Bodhinyana to come here. My cave, those doors are open too. There's nothing in there, just space, just emptiness. Who can steal emptiness? We can't steal emptiness, we only share it. There's plenty of emptiness and space for everybody. You try and close it in with doors and locks and gates, then people feel there must be something worthwhile in it. They don't know what's of value. We did have a burglar once. I tell this story because it's funny. A burglar came into Bodhinyana Monastery a few years ago, and actually they stole tools from the workshop. Expensive tools like chainsaws and what else did they steal? Generators. Do you remember what they stole? Think about that. Drills and stuff. Expensive stuff. The first thing I said, and please you remember this, a thief can steal stuff. They should never be allowed to steal your happiness and peace. And as soon as I said that, the monks eventually realized how true that was. Because all of that stuff was insured. So we got an insurance payment, and we got new chainsaws and new drills, much better quality. And we still turned a profit at the end. And so if ever that thief ever listens to this, please come back again. It kind of, as a monk, you have a different way of looking at things. What's really important in life? The peace and the happiness, the joy, that's more important. So, in that story, what Nibbana is, just having millions of dollars, $5 million or $5 billion. That's not happiness. The fourth kid was much smarter, and what he said was, if I had a wish, I would wish I was a president of the United States with all that power. You know, sometimes I wonder why it is that people who like going into politics are already very rich. Why do they want to go into politics for and be corrupt and make more money? What's the point? You already got so much money, you can just live a nice peaceful life. The reason why they go into politics like that is because wealth is not enough. You want power. Power to get what you want. And you find actually that's not happiness at all. Eventually someone else becomes more powerful than you are. And you destroy so much in the pursuit of power and the exercise of power. So that kid who wanted power as his wish, again, that wasn't smart at all. And in this story, how that was expressed was the fourth kid said, if I had a wish, I would wish for 3 wishes. The first wish was, the ice cream shop. Second wish was the $1 billion US. And the last wish was 3 more wishes. In other words, an infinity of wishes granted. And that's what the meaning of power is. Whenever you have a wish, it can be given to you. And that's never happiness. The last kid said, if I had a wish, I wish I was so content I never needed a wish ever again. I love that ending. That actually shows you what we're doing here. For those of you who aim for the full enlightenment, be so content. You don't need wishes ever again. At peace at last, no matter what happens. The world is the world. Yeah, it gets hot sometimes, it gets cold sometimes. I can't imagine it. I always thought that Western Australia should be a nice, comfortable climate, because UK was cold. And then you went kind of in between, like Thailand or Sri Lanka. That must be kind of in the middle. Not too hot, not too cold. But even that gets hot or cold. Can't we find somewhere in the middle of this world we've just got exactly the right climate? Not hot, not cold. There is no such place. It's only when you find that contentment. And how do you find that contentment when it's hot or cold outside? When it's hot, what should you do? Keep a cool head. And when it's cold, a warm heart. That doesn't cost any money to do that. You don't have to have it installed by some expert. And that way you can cope with almost anything in life. And those are kind of some of the things which I learned about Buddhism, which were kind of practical. How Ajahn Brahm used to say that, he always used to say, whenever I complained about anything as a young monk, and I had decent things to complain about. One of the things I used to complain about was about the noise from the villagers. Sometimes they had their parties. And in those days, if they had a celebration, it wasn't just one evening. It went on for about 3 days. And they would finish about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they'd crash out because they were exhausted. But as soon as they woke up, they'd start again. And you think, 2 o'clock in the morning, gives you time for a little bit of sleep. But we would have such a strict schedule. The bell would go, the big bell in the monastery, at 3 a.m. in the morning. We're only getting 1 hour sleep a night. And we didn't know when the party was going to stop, but we were so exhausted. We asked the villagers, can you please maybe finish at not 2 o'clock but 1 o'clock? They said, no, this is our tradition. So then we asked Ajahn Brahm, and good old Ajahn Brahm, he gave this very powerful teaching. He said, no, I'm not going to tell the villagers to cut down the noise. He said, it's not the noise disturbs you, it's you who disturb the noise. And over the years, you started to contemplate that. And over the years, you find out how truthful that is. When somebody makes a loud noise, me disturbing that noise was thinking about it, getting negative about it, complaining about it. I say this when anyone stays at the monastery or stays at Ajahn Brahm on a retreat. Somebody in your kuti, you know who they are, always bangs the door very loud. Or they snore. Please don't get offended at this story. But there was one guy who went to this town, a big festival on, and there was no place to stay. Every hotel room was booked. Did I tell this story a few weeks ago? No? Good. Every hotel room was booked. So I had such a hard time finding anyway. He said, I don't mind sharing a room. And there was even the places you could share were all booked out, until he went to this one hotel and said, well, we have got one room with 2 beds in, but no one can actually stay the night there. They don't get a good sleep. And the reason why, he said, was the other person in the room snores really loudly. No one else can sleep with that racket going on of him snoring. So the guy said, okay, I can handle that. So he booked the room. And in the morning, when he went to pay the bill, he was really rested. How did it go, said the person on the front desk. I had a lovely night's sleep. How did you work that out? Because just about every person who tries to sleep when this guy is in the same room, even the people next door find it hard to sleep. He snores so loudly. Very easy, said this man. He said, when I changed into my pajamas, ready to go to bed, I went over to him, gave him a big kiss on the lips, and then I went to bed, and he was up all night. Please don't take any offence, it's not anti-gay. That's kind of innovative wisdom, maybe. But anyway, disturbing the noise is just, don't worry about it. I mean that. Don't keep thinking about it. If they bang the door, that banging the door just disappears after a minute or two. Even the water, which I spilt when I first came in here, I don't worry about it. It's almost all evaporated by now. It's warm in here. So that's actually great teachings on how you can find peace in this world. By learning the most biggest value is contentment, simple happiness. You may be tired, you may have maybe not enough money to live on in this world. But it's amazing. You don't have that much money. You can live like me, with no money, just on the kindness of other people. And I'll just finish off with Ajahn Chah's advice to me. When we first came over to Australia, there were so few Buddhists here, that we asked Ajahn Chah, what happens if people don't feed us? And that did happen a few times when I first came here. They didn't turn up in the morning. There was food in the fridge, but no one to offer it. So those days we fasted. That didn't last for very long. After a while, that Ajahn Chah's response was, aren't there any kind people in Australia? Of course there are. Where there's kind people, there will always be people who look after you if you really need it. Never happens these days though. Goodness gracious. If you see the amount of food which people are being even tomorrow morning to feed just 3 monks, it's amazing, your kindness and generosity. So that's why you don't have to worry about anything. You can have a nice, peaceful, content life. Why not? Prove me wrong. Thank you for listening. Sadhu. Okie dokie. So now we have the time for questions until the lions arrive. Supposed to be coming another 10 minutes. Very good. Here's the first question. From Wolfram Gabby in Germany. Dear Ajahn, what is the difference between awareness and mindfulness? How do you do to be kind exactly to oneself? Should we not just observe? Thank you kindly. To be able to observe, that is just with the eyes. But to be mindful is actually using the mind to know what's going on. You know, a lot of times when people come to me with some problem in their life, sometimes I don't just listen to what you're saying. I look at your whole body. And actually sometimes feel what the problem really is. Because how can you actually describe in words some of the problems which people feel in life? There's more to it, and sometimes they don't know how to express that. That's why I really like kids, because they can actually show what they need so easily. Just a nice need to lie on, and a nice blanket to cover them, and they go nice and quietly to sleep. Even though that many of you would be too afraid to go to sleep if you're tired in public here. Why can't you sleep? What's really important in life? Your happiness and health, or just creating some sort of image of what you think you are? But anyway, the kindfulness, number one, it allows mindfulness to stay on an object. It keeps it there. When mindfulness goes from here to there and something else, it can never really penetrate into something. I love saying this simile. I've said it many times. And the first place I really said this was in the World Computer Conference, where I was giving the keynote address. That was quite a few years ago now. But I was really touched that I was invited to the World Computer Conference in South Korea. And many of the people there, some really big high executives, what are you doing here? Giving their keynote address, what do you know about computers? I said, nothing. But I know about innovation. That's when I held up something. It was a bottle of water. I've done this many, many times. What is this I'm holding up? And when people say, bottle of water, there's glass, almost empty. Keep on looking, what else do you see? Have you noticed when questions are asked, you think there's an answer which is correct? And you stop when you think you've got the right answer. That's why people don't look deep enough. You just keep on looking. That mindfulness stays on the object and is kind to it. So that means your mindfulness awareness can really go into something. You can discover things you've never seen before, which no one else has seen either. Innovation, what is that? This is how you develop that innovative skill. If you have any problem at work or in your life, you don't just keep looking at it. You look at it with a sense of kindness. You don't try and find an answer. You're trying to get to know it. Get to know it really, really deeply. And that's where insight comes from. mindfulness plus kindness. It's a kindness which is like the glue which keeps you there long enough. From UK, I practice Buddhism. When I go out into the real world, I feel a lot of ill will towards people who behave poorly, and it only ends up affecting me. Any advice? Thanks. People who act poorly? What about insects which act poorly? I especially remember the mosquitoes in Thailand. Those mosquitoes in Thailand, I hope there aren't so many mosquitoes in that hotel in Sri Lanka I'm going to. It's behind you saying yes, yes, yes. But even if there are, mosquitoes have to live. They have to find some food. But mosquitoes acting poorly, that's why some of the mosquitoes in Thailand, I hope Sri Lankan mosquitoes are much better behaved. In Thailand, they wouldn't just bite you. First of all, they'd go into your ear, buzz, 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 buzz. They'd announce they'd come for dinner. I thought it was really mean. I'm a monk, I won't swat them. So, they can come and drink how much blood they want, but just go and do it, for goodness sake. Don't keep announcing you're coming. And so... On the way. It's okay, we should hear them coming. Lions, oh. Okay. So, anyway, those mosquitoes. And then, sometimes the reason why I thought they were misbehaving, even though you'd let them bite you, sometimes, you know what they would do? You could watch them on hand, come on, have something to eat. It's only a small little prick in the fingers. But what they would do, and I hope the Sri Lankan mosquitoes don't do this, but they would actually put their nose in, they'd take it out again, and they'd walk a couple of steps somewhere else. They were so fussy. And they would actually do 3 or 4 exploratory holes before they found one where they found some blood they really liked. Oh my goodness, taking advantage of a monk's kindness. I thought I was going too far. but nevertheless, that's just the nature of mosquitoes. And to try and train mosquitoes, it's a waste of time trying to train mosquitoes. They never listen. Even if you give them loving kindness all day. May all mosquitoes be happy and well. Now that's the way to behave, mosquitoes. You're in a Buddhist monastery. Be very careful. You know that sometimes they used to say about drawing blood from a Buddha was one of the very, very, very bad acts of karma. So imagine any mosquito which drew blood from a Buddha when he was alive. Oh, I don't know what happened to those mosquitoes. So you can't teach them. But ill will towards people. In the real world, not everyone is kind. There's some very people who do bad things. How to deal with that? If you could understand why those people did those bad things. They're struggling. They are really suffering. They've been hurt and harmed. That's one of the reasons why I was fortunate to go to prisons, not just in Western Australia, but other parts of the world as well, and be able to talk to some of these people who are convicted, so-called bad people. Why did you do that? And a lot of times, they were mad, out of their mind. It doesn't matter how out of their mind they were, some small acts of kindness really meant so much to them. That's one of the reasons why you go out into the real world, and I feel a lot of ill will towards people who behave poorly. The way to encourage them not to behave poorly is actually to be kind to them. It's amazing, kind people never harm you. Sorry, if you're kind, the bad people can't harm you. Okay, 2 quick questions because the lions have arrived apparently. From Rupa Bolanat Lahiri, how do I balance metta practice with developing wisdom? My goodness, the more metta you develop, the more wisdom you have. The more you develop wisdom, the more you develop metta. You don't balance them. You do as much as you can of both. And lastly, from Poland. Hi Ajahn Brahm, what brings you to true happiness today? Why not? Do you want to be happy? It's not that hard. Just let go of suffering. Understand this is the world and stop fighting the world. Once I had to answer very quickly, what is suffering? Quickly. And suffering is asking from the world something it can never give you. Which is impossible to give you. So I understand what this world can give and live within that. Live within your means. I don't mean financially. What you can do in this world. It's amazing how much peace and contentment give you real happiness, true happiness. When you're not fighting the world and battles you can never win, then you can get all this lovely peace, and the peace does create huge amounts of energy inside of you. So that's my advice. Okay, it is now 9 o'clock, and the zoo has arrived, I think. So we got some lions coming. It's Chinese New Year. It's noisy, but please learn how to not disturb the noise. So those sitting in the center, if you can actually create a little pathway in between, because the lions get very upset if they can't get in. And if you want to make it to the toilet, now's a very good time to get in, because when the lions want to get into the toilet, they get very upset if you're still inside. Was that the lions?
I think it is.
I think it is. Okay, good. Okay. That's the money, yeah. Very good. No, I'll be here. Yeah. I'm here every day. But sometimes here is monastery, sometimes here is Hong Kong, sometimes here is Singapore. But I'm always here. No, it doesn't matter. The other monks are there.
Not this one.
Not this one, no.
I mean, even Sunday's still here. See you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
See you here tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Ah. Good.
Because I love both of them.
Yeah, you know, sometimes. What land were you born in? Iran. And what land are you in now? Where are you now? Exactly. So are you Australian or Iranian? You're both. So do you get confused being both? No. You can actually be Christian and Buddhist at the same time. Take the best part of each. And that's who you are. You don't have to accept everything. You can expect some of it. Yeah. Many people actually say that Jesus was a Buddhist. Yeah. You can, yeah. They're coming soon on the way. Excellent. Okay. I think they're getting something to eat. Lions. No, great. Well done. Oh yeah, I just came back from Melbourne. I was there in December. All right. Oh, you got the father, yeah.
So, to give me anything back to
No, just tell him I'll be chanting for him. So he knows that if I say something, I will do that. Okay, the lions are coming soon. 5 more minutes.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. So the lions are not keeping good time. Shame on the lions. So sometimes people ask, why do we do these lion dances? Because they're quite noisy. But one of the reasons we do that is a culture for some of the people who are here. And that's why we like to celebrate that culture. And these people doing the lion dances are always very, very kind and helpful. And imagine what it's like for them. They get very tired at this time of the night. They come here to offer their services. It's very wonderful and beautiful and kind of them.
Hello, Ajahn.
There's some more of them coming.
But not ready yet. Ajahn, can I tell the story of the ice cream?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do it slowly. Everybody listen.
Can we have a bit of quiet, please? Tony wants to say a few words about the lion
All
dance.
right, this is a story about the ice cream. There's a busybody man saw a young boy eating ice cream. And he couldn't stand it. He said, "Oh, young boy, you shouldn't be eating ice cream. It's unhealthy and you will die early." And the boy replied, "Well, my grandfather lived to 110. Oh, and busybody said, "Oh, does he eat ice cream every day?" No, he's a Buddhist. He doesn't meddle in other people's business. That's it.
It's like your jokes.
Okay. Yeah.
Buddhists don't meddle with other people's business, like, that's the joke. Like,
Okay.
don't mess with my business, the little boy said.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tony. I still don't get it. My brain is dead. Yeah.
Oh, there's one line. No.
One line? I thought that's one person lying down. Oh, yes. Here we go.
Put some bait for the line.
Okay, let's get them to come in. The microphone is on. How many lines are coming?
Usually two or three, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, I come back again here or not.
Oh, you'll come back. You can take a photograph in the meantime.
You should go a little bit closer that way.
Yeah.
So then you get in the picture. Go a little bit this way. Just
Yeah.
sit here. Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
That's perfect.
Excellent. Okay, I was yawning. Thank you. They've lost their head. Wow. Some very young lions there. Hi. Okay. Okay, yes.
Use that when you. I put down.
Okay, excellent. So if you want to take a photograph, please do so quickly, because the lions are going to be coming in soon.
Who's going to take it from you? Oh, they take
Okay, yeah. Excellent. I'll be going to Sri Lanka soon. Yes, I'll be going. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, okay. Okay, they're bowing. Sorry? I'm not sure. It's up to them. Nothing. Okay. Sorry, I can't hear. What? Oh yeah. Can you, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
There. Well done.
Oh, there you see. Now use Ajahn Brahm.
I couldn't do that.
Use your microphone. Shouldn't. Hello.
That's okay. That's okay. No, they're coming back in, I think. Yeah, sure.
Hello, everybody. The Lion Troop. They are from the Chunghwa Association. Special thanks to them and to their leaders, Ben Lim and Aaron Lung. A big applause for them.
It's working now. It's working now.
Oh, okay. What? Never mind, it's okay. That's okay. I'll get back. I'll get back. Oh, no, it's not working. All right. Come on. Monks, go down. Yeah, all the monks go down. Come on, us too. Come on. Us. Come on. Come on, us too. Whoever wants to come join in. Come. Yeah. Come. Anyone else want to join in? Woo! 1, 2, 3. Gong Hee Fa Choi. 1, 2, 3. Gong Hee Fa Choi. Woo! Okay. Hey. Hello, everybody. Again, there's some light refreshments at the community center. Okay, next door. Light refreshments at the community center next door. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yes.
It's called reception.
Oh, don't worry. Reception. Huh? Never mind, don't worry. Don't worry.